Let's see how to add a calendar event. This is Windows 8 platform, and let's see also how to edit it, how to add an alarm, a reminder, and how to delete it. So we are in August. I'm going to place a event in September, and the event will show up. You can see here there is a small line, a red line. That's how you know there is an event on that day. And when you see actually like a smaller red triangle in a corner, that is the actual day. So the events will show us small lines. Let's just add one on the 30th. So we need to hit the plus button to add an event. Let's call it maybe dentist. You can add more information. Maybe you want to add a location, maybe a phone number, address. Then once you do so, be sure to click on more details. Let me just see if you can add more things. Oh, there is a description line too, so you can add more information. Now, for the reminder part, it is important to pay attention because if you mistype something here, what will happen is the reminder may wake you up at midnight the day before. So be careful so you don't have a surprise. Let's just first change this how long. So it says how long here, and by default it's all day. Put it to 0 minutes. That's the best choice for you. And once you do so, so you see the how long here is now 0 minutes. It gives you right after changing this setting, it gives you the start time, which was not there before. If I will put all day, you notice there is no start time. So that's why you want to change the how long, maybe put it 30 minutes, 1 hour, it doesn't matter, but it's really a matter of you will see setting the reminder. So once you do so, you have how long to maybe, ideally, I think it's 0 minutes. Then you see the time, and this is the start time of the event. I'm moving like this so it doesn't get into the lock screen. This is the start time of the event. So then you can change this because this will affect the reminder time. So if I would, obviously, perhaps you don't have appointments at midnight. So let's just move this maybe to 2 p.m. Okay, make sure you click the small confirm. So now, right now, this is the start time of the appointment or of the event. At this moment, given this start time, you can actually set the reminder, which is by default 15 minutes. It is really up to you. If you want, maybe put it 4 hours before the start time. So it's going to be 10 a.m. as the event it's 2 p.m. But I prefer setting it one day before, just me, or maybe maybe you as well. So one day you have 1 week and that's it. Again, this is Windows 8. Maybe Windows 10 is different. I don't know. So let's just put one day. And by this, what I do is my event starts at 2 p.m. The day before, at the 2 p.m., 12 hours before, I will get a reminder. And you can set the reminder sound in the sounds of the phone in the settings, just like you set the call sound and the SMS sound and so on. So this is how you set the reminder some moment or some period before the start time of the actual event. Okay, with this in mind, you can also, it looks like you can repeat it. Yeah, you can repeat the reminder, or I think you should try this by yourself, see if, I'm going to guess this is the event that you can actually repeat on other days, see every month, 13 every month, and so on and so on. So I never use that function, that's why I cannot tell you more, but look here at the repeat occurs, or repeat the event, not the reminder. I'm not sure if it's going to automatically also repeat the reminder at the same settings. Maybe give it a try. It looks like there are other options. Attend this, description, private. I've never tried this. I never use calendar. I never use Outlook. I think in Windows 10 it's more connected to the Outlook, but give it a try. After you complete the all the information here, what is important, and it's not that obvious, is that you have to save it. You have this small button here right at the bottom, and I'll show you maybe at the end of the video if you stay with me. That button is this thing. It's called the floppy disk. You no longer see this on the market. That's from computers actually. So I'll give you perhaps a story. So you need to press this icon of diskette to save the information. If you don't do so, if you press back or you go to the home screen, you will not save this information. The reminder, the event will not be saved. I've done this mistake, and sometimes it can turn out to be an unpleasant mistake, if you understand what I'm saying. So make sure you save it here. Press this button, and then the event will be saved. You will see there is a red line here. If you want to edit it or to delete it, we are going to do both. Just open it by clicking on the date. So on this date, there's no event. On this date, we have this event, dentist. Click on the small text here, which is quite small, but try to aim at it. And it shows you a bit of information. If you want to edit it, is this edit button. Select it. When you change anything, make sure you save it again. Don't forget this step. Now, if you want to delete it, simply select the event and you have the garbage bin. Press on it, confirm, and it should be gone from your agenda. Now, I was saying about this diskette. So if you, let me see if I can show you again the pictogram. Maybe put something in there just for the sake of it. So this diskette, this symbol here, it's exactly this object without the sticker, obviously. I'm talking about this symbol. If you look closely, let's see if the camera will focus properly. This is the symbol of the diskette and has become like sort of a universal symbol, even if this diskette is basically no longer existing today. But the symbol has stayed there for some reason. Who knows who decided at some point. And and I think the symbol will just stay there. And I'm quite positive. Let me just focus. I'm quite positive that many of, especially young people, have no idea what this is about. Especially the symbol, but even the signification, what actually the origin of the symbol. This is the ancestor of, I would say, of the CD-ROM. So you have those CDs that were both for music and for data computer. But perhaps also is the ancestor of the existing, we are in 2023, existing USB-K, memory USB stick or K. Before the USB Ks and before the CD-ROMs, this was how you would transfer and how you would just have portable data. These diskettes were used when I arrived in Canada, actually even earlier, I think, around, I was a fresh immigrant in Canada in the early 90s. These diskettes, I believe, at that point were start to be used on a larger scale. But at the same time on the market, we still had, back in the early 90s, a bigger diskette. The size of this thing, it's 3.5 inches. I don't know how many centimeters that is. And the actual memory, so you notice there is sort of a flexible disk. I'm not sure what the material is, but it's flexible and it spins inside. I don't know if I can. No, perhaps it has sort of a lock mechanism, so it doesn't spin by itself. But this can stock the incredible amount of 1.4 megabytes. So about 1.5 megabyte, and that's because it was the HD version. But by the way, this thing also had sort of a sliding cover, metal sliding cover, which I did remove on this one, which would just slide when you insert it automatically. There is a spring to it, and then the computer can read the data. The cover was meant to just protect the surface here. So it was very small amount, and actually this was the third generation of floppy disk or diskette. Also, I think diskette sounds more like French, but the previous generations were I think 5 1/4 inches size, which would stock about 360 kilobytes, which is very tiny amount. Obviously, it's like a text file document today. And the previous of that one was 8 inches size, which I'm not really aware how many kilobytes would store. And I went to look on the Wikipedia just as of today to get some information about floppy disks. And to my surprise, which is something not really hard to actually understand, is there are still government organizations, and you will have a hard time to believe me, but I'll just tell you, go read Wikipedia for floppy disk. It seems that even the US, one of the US organizations that has to do with nuclear weapons, is still using computers, obviously very old computers, that use the 8 inches floppy disk. As of today, actually not, I think Wikipedia says it has been discontinued as of 2017, but it was very recently, until very recently, still using not this one, but the ancestor of this one, in 8 inches one that will just store a few kilobytes of data for some of the computers at the American government of defense or something like this, for the nuclear weapon program. And the reason for that, it's actually very simple, is that it is impossible on those computers to steal information using a USB key. Those computers didn't have USB keys, which has been introduced, I think, someplace in the 90s. So that's why the some American organizations were still using floppy disk, even older ones than this one, even in very high security programs. So the employees, if there was a spy, Russian spy or something, could not steal too much data from those computers. Interesting history. Just give it a read in Wikipedia. And I was going to say also, finishing this video, is when I did arrive in Canada, I think in the late 90s, or perhaps, yes, somewhere in the 90s, we did start having personal computers with Windows. I don't remember exactly the first versions of Windows, but I do remember precisely that we had to went to a store and purchase the Windows software, and it came with these diskettes. And because obviously the Windows program was larger than one diskette, I do remember we would buy a pack of these diskettes, which were obviously pre-recorded with Windows. And my memory tells me there were about 10 or 11 diskettes in that package. So at least one of the first generations of Windows, I don't remember the name, unfortunately, but you can find it on Wikipedia, would come in about 10 diskettes. So it would have been something like 10 megabytes with the whole software, Windows software, first generations, much smaller than today. And you will just pick up 10 diskettes like this and start installing it and insert the first diskette. There was diskette number 1 inserted, and after it copied the diskette, which will take several minutes. It was very slow to read 1 megabytes, those computers. When you finished installing the first diskette, you get a message on the screen saying insert now diskette number 2. So you grab the search for the diskette number 2, inserted for now a few minutes, and that was the whole install process, quite long. And you could not pirate it or anything like this, or download it online at that moment. I think back then we had modems that had a speed of 33.6 kilobytes per second. So that was very slow and sluggish. And it was also the beginning of the internet. Okay, so that's my story. As for the Windows phones, I must say, maybe you are surprised I'm doing this 2023. Well, one of the reason is sometimes I just forget or I just don't pay attention how to do something, and I will look back into my own videos, my own channel. But the other reason is that simply I'm just uh, not dependent, but I just cannot change the phone for another platform. I've not tried iPhone, but I did try Android. I just could not handle it in any way. So I'm sticking with Windows phones. You can still buy them new, actually on eBay, just brand new units that were never sold. And those units, make sure it's new, so you have a new battery, and that battery is going to be good. If you buy one used, then you have problems with the battery, and the aftermarket batteries are not good at all. So I'm still using it. We are in Canada, and this one is 3G. 3G in Canada is still going to be used up to about 2026 or 7. In United States, 3G is being discarded this year, 2023, but you will have from, I think, from Horizon, Lumia phones, depends on the model. This one, it's Lumia 730 or 735, it's about the same. You will have phones with 4G, and 4G in United States, again, is going to last for another few years. It's a simple to use phone. I do have videos about it on my channel. If you have an old grandmother, grandfather, or even if you have a teenager and you don't want to let them use internet or applications or waste time on games, this is the phone that you want to get. You can still obviously use it just like any other phone, activate it, get a plan, get the data for transferring files, transferring images, and it's going to be a basic phone, text and talk, very easy to use, and in my opinion, much easier, much more user friendly than Android platform. Android are good for tablets. I like them. I do have Android tablets, but for phones, I think Windows platform was much better, except for the apps. And obviously, the App Store at this moment is no longer working in the Windows, so you can no longer download apps. You just use it as a phone. Thanks for watching.